Kathy, welcome to the show.
How are you?
Good, good. Before we start, could you briefly explain what it is that you do?
Sure. So I'm Kathy Terrell. I'm an eBay seller myself. So I'm a top rated seller on eBay. I've been selling on eBay for over 15 years. My background is retail, Sergey. So I have extensive retail background. I'm here in New York City. I'm waving to you from across the pond.
Right.
So extensive retail background in New York. And then from that, I also have performing arts background, which is why I live in New York. I landed on the QVC shopping channel, and I was what was called a product presenter on QVC for over 6 years. So I have a lot of sales experience. Landed on eBay, honestly, because I needed something more home-based. QVC is in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is about an 8-hour round trip from New York City. And my mom was sick, so I needed something more home-based in New York so that I could take care of my mom. And really just started selling very casually on eBay. I had no intention really of getting into online retail at all. And for me and my needs at that point, I just found it was the perfect fit. And I loved eBay and then scaled my business. Once my mom passed, I scaled. I'm an eBay sales and social media coach. I'm trained by eBay. I'm what's called an eBay, gosh, what do they call it? It's not funny, I'm brain dead right now. But an eBay sales consultant. I was trained by eBay. I'm on eBay beta teams. I've actually presented at major conferences with senior eBay staff. And my real niche or expertise is eBay search. What I really work on with sellers is you can have the best, you know this, you can have the best inventory in the world. It's just like selling on Amazon. You can have the best inventory in the world, but you want that buy box. If you
Right.
don't have the buy box, it's going to really hurt you. And there's things that you can do to optimize your listings on Amazon, plus Amazon's ad program. Well, it's the same thing on eBay. It's not just a matter of listing on eBay, it's how you list on eBay. And then eBay has an ad program too. So yes to good inventory, yes to great customer service, but like anything, you're not going to have a chance to serve your customer if they cannot find you. So I really work with sellers. I'm actually working with somebody right now with great product and getting their items optimized for eBay search. And that's what I do. I work with sellers of all size. I do manage some very large sellers accounts, some big Amazon sellers, they have me manage their accounts. But really is how to get optimized on eBay, how to get sales on eBay.
Amazing. Great story. And we're a show more focused on the Amazon FBA space,
Sure.
but it's always amazing to hear perspectives of people from different verticals and niches and how
Yep.
they can apply that experience to the Amazon FBA space. Well, the question that I get asked a lot when I talk about eBay to Amazon sellers is why should an average Amazon seller be interested in diversifying into eBay, if at all?
The reason for that, and I go to a lot of Amazon conferences. People in the United States are used to seeing my face. I'm that nice lady walking around the Amazon conference with an eBay T-shirt on. Is and honestly, I would say the same thing to a big eBay seller if they're just on eBay. If you are just on Amazon, just like if you were just on eBay or just anywhere, but let's pick on Amazon. Um, I don't know. I know a few sellers that are multiple six-figure sellers just on Amazon, but I would say the vast majority of Amazon sellers that I know, and I know a lot of Amazon sellers that are multiple six-figure, are multi-channel sellers.
Right.
They are on eBay. They are on Amazon. They are often on Walmart, and they often have their own Shopify store. So I think like anything is, you never want to put all your eggs in one basket. I know this may hit people after the effect, but right now we're dealing with COVID here in the United States, just like we are globally. And a lot of the FBA sellers are really running into issues because there's different inventory issues going on with Amazon US FBA. And if you are running into issues with that, with fulfillment, with shipping, with what you're allowed to ship, what you're not allowed to ship, having a multiple stream of revenue is a godsend because you literally don't have all your eggs in one basket. So for some reason you're hitting a snag on one platform, which thankfully doesn't happen very often, is that you've got the other platforms as a revenue stream for your business. And you want that. So even if let's say you're wildly successful on eBay, but let's say that, you know, your major success is Amazon, and let's say 60, 70, maybe even 80% of your revenue is coming from Amazon and 20% is coming from other sites. Why not get that 20% or that 30% or that
Right,
40%?
right.
Why not have more sales for yourself? It keeps your Amazon business healthy. It keeps your employees in your warehouses very happy, and wherever you're sourcing your inventory. But the big thing, Sergey, it's the cash flow. You know, we all need cash flow. So yay for that. So that's why I always say to my Amazon seller friends is you want multiple streams of revenue.
Right. And is it fair to say that the inflow of sellers from Amazon to eBay is happening right now because of the oversaturation of the Amazon and the FBA space in general?
I would say it's a mix. One is people are ready to scale. You know, they might
Mhm.
be starting on eBay and then they go to Amazon. They might be starting on Walmart, then they go to eBay. I mean, everybody starts somewhere and then they expand. So one is you have people expanding. They're on Amazon, they've been on Amazon solely, and now they're looking to go to other platforms. eBay has changed quite a bit in the past few years. It now has, it's much easier to work with a product catalog. There's a lot of ways to import listings that was not there a couple of years ago. So a lot of Amazon sellers are finding it easier to come to eBay. The other thing is eBay is a very seller-friendly platform. You dialogue with people. Oftentimes when you pick up the phone, you get somebody in the United States. eBay is very seller-friendly, very much works with sellers. And that can be enticing to Amazon sellers that at times feel like they're hitting a brick wall, that it's very hard to communicate, it's very hard to reach people. They find eBay a much friendlier platform for that reason. So there's a lot of different reasons. It also could be the inventory. You might be switching inventory and the thing that you're selling is something that you've discovered. It just sells much better on eBay. So a lot of reasons for that.
Are there any categories that are selling better, doing better in terms of sales, and maybe sales velocity on eBay than on Amazon?
Honestly, I don't know. The clients that I work with, I'm under non-disclosure, so I can't speak to what their numbers are on eBay versus Amazon. The thing with eBay is, excuse me, is you have a much greater diversity of things that you can sell on eBay that you can on Amazon.
Right.
So I think depending on what niche you are in or how you're selling, is that eBay could be a place that works for you. I'm thinking it would be unusual for Amazon, but for instance, if you're an antique collectible seller, if you're a vintage seller, I think you're going to find it easy. You're going to find your customers more on eBay than you would necessarily on Amazon. But like anything is you got to test and you got to see, because even within a niche, like something like women's clothing, you might find that a certain line sells much better on eBay than Amazon or vice versa. And like anything, it's going to take testing to discover that.
Right, because in my experience, which definitely shouldn't be trusted because I'm not a seller on eBay, but eBay is mostly for secondhand, used and craft, homemade products,
Not at
whereas
all.
Amazon is mostly
Not
for
at all.
brand-focused products.
No,
And
eBay's actually 80% new. So that's a real misnomer. That's from when it started. It was actually auction web when it started long, long time ago with Pierre Omidyar. But for years now, 80% of eBay is new. And so that's a misnomer that it's sort of the land of of vintage or used. It has vintage, it has used, which is incredibly helpful to people when they're looking for parts. Think particularly something like an automobile parts for vintage or for classic cars kind of thing. Same thing with toys, any kind of mechanical thing you might have around the home. But no, eBay is 80% new.
interesting. And speaking of promotion and scaling your products and your brand on eBay, what kind of promotion tools can sellers on eBay work with? And mainly, how is it different from Amazon? So, what learning curve, what should seller with an Amazon background be ready to educate themselves in?
The biggest thing, because it's available to you whether you have a store or not, and you have to look at whether you're doing volume, that it's worth it to get a store. I would say for most Amazon sellers, you would want a store, and that comes with a whole array of promotional tools, and you need to take a look at it. It's also selling formats. eBay has a format called Best Offer, which Amazon does not have. And either sellers are going to find it wonderful, or not, because it is more labor intensive. So what it is it's almost like building in a haggle feature to the price. So like going into a market and, like I'm looking at your beautiful red microphone going in and you're saying, okay, Kathy, I'll sell you this microphone for 100 and you have best offer on it. So I can message you and I can offer you 80, 85, 90. So that is good because what it does is it creates dialogue with your customer. eBay actually
Mhm.
welcomes dialogue with customer. I know Amazon does not welcome dialogue with
Right,
customer.
right.
And oftentimes with that, and there is an auto accept and an auto decline. So for instance, if you find on a certain product line you're consistently getting lowball offers and you don't want to answer those messages, or you don't want your assistants or your customer service reps to be answering it, you can set up an auto decline. But what's great is, so you have it listed for 100 and you're fine with your margins to take a price of 90, you can actually set up an auto accept, and then you don't have to dialogue. Is it will automatically accept the offer for you. But it's a great way to drive sales. It's extremely popular. Sellers get a lot of sales that way. eBay reports a lot of sales. eBay also has a offer called seller initiated offer, or SIO, where and you don't even need to have best offer on the item. Okay, so what it is you'll have a watcher, and eBay will note that the item is being watched. It's like with Amazon, is they've put it in their shopping cart and maybe saved it for later, is that the eBay system will note that somebody's watching an item, or that they've put it in their shopping cart 5 days or more, but they haven't done anything with it. You're able to send that shopper an offer. So
Oh,
again,
that's
back to your red,
interesting.
it's
So
great
it's
because,
yeah, it seems that sorry to interrupt. It
no, no,
just
I'm
seems
sorry. Yeah,
that the technique, the selling technique between Amazon and eBay is vastly different. So it's not the promotion tools, but it's the user experience, right?
it's abandoned shopping carts, sort of things you probably run into more with having your own website, like with Shopify, when people deal with abandoned shopping cart and how to get people back. You do
Right.
have selling tools. There's discount tools you can use. I know Amazon has coupons, eBay has coupons. You also have a thing with eBay. It's through Promotions Manager, which you only get with a store, where you can set up a discount. So again, if I'm buying the microphone with the headset, I can give you 10% off, which with Amazon, you can do it with coding, but it could get a little tricky because they'll offer you Kathy's headset and Sergey's microphone. What this
Right.
is,
Right.
I set up a discount offer where if you buy my microphone and my headset, I'll give you 10% off both. So eBay gives the seller a lot more control over discount programs you can offer, coupons you can offer, the seller initiated offer where eBay will let me know, and I don't have to do anything, but eBay will let me know if you want. You can send an offer to the shoppers. You can either send it or not. It's totally up to you. You don't have to send it. And they do have a very robust advertising program with promoted listings, where, excuse me, with or without an eBay store, you can promote your items, and you give eBay fees for that. It's called promoted listings, very similar to Amazon's advertising program.
Right. And one thing that I really love about Amazon and selling on Amazon is that they have a lot of branding opportunities. For example,
Yes.
like enhanced branded content, A plus content, right? Is there anything else, anything similar on eBay to that?
As far as to push branded content, that would be done through the eBay store. I mean, technically with Amazon, depending on the seller and what people are doing, is there are various things offered, but with eBay is you can get a store for as little as, I think, $15 now. It may be $10. I got to take a look at the prices. And that is your brand. So when people land on the item, they will see it's from Sergey's store or Kathy's store. And then within that, I offer promotions, discounts, whatever I want. And there's ways to build out. You can keep it very simple and just open the store, offer various promotions, but there's header areas, there's places you can put graphics, logos. It just depends how much you want to build it out and put the effort in.
Interesting. And speaking of platforms, and because you work with sellers of all shapes and sizes, sellers from Amazon, from eBay, from Walmart, from Shopify. In the world that's dominated heavily by platforms like Amazon or eBay, does it even make sense to sell through your own website or Shopify and invest in your brand in 2020?
I really think it's up to the seller. It's what are your goals and how much time do you have and how big is your team? Um, some people are heavily invested in their brand and some sellers aren't. So it's really a matter of what works for you. What is your budget? What are your margins? And the seller really has to take a look at what their goals are, um, and then do it that way. But I would never say no to a Shopify store. Just realize with a Shopify store, but it's also true with eBay and Amazon, is it's not just a matter of putting a Shopify store up. You will need to take a look at doing ads to drive traffic to your Shopify store. How are you going to get traffic to your Shopify store? It's not just like
Right.
build the field and they will come. But similar with Amazon and with eBay, yes, good inventory. Yes, put your listings up. But do I have a listing on Amazon, on eBay, in my Shopify store that's going to attract shoppers? And each site is different and has different needs. Because Sergey, that's what I say, like my Amazon friends that are coming to eBay, because often the biggest mistake, I'll just say this, the biggest mistake Amazon sellers make coming to eBay, or Walmart sellers, but I'll use Amazon, is they use an importer of some kind, or just have a VA put a certain amount of their listings or all their listings on eBay. And they think it's flip the switch, right? They think, oh, I'll just throw the
Right.
listings on eBay and like magic, sales will come. And they might, depending on what they sell. If it's a very high demand product at a really good price, they might. But they haven't learned the site. And I always say it's like countries, and Europe is the perfect example. So Amazon is the UK and eBay is France. So are there similarities? Absolutely. But when I'm in the UK, predominantly I'm speaking English. And when I'm in France, I'm going to be speaking French. And to really understand French, it's probably going to help me if I learn French, right? And then I'm going to learn the culture and the food and everything, transportation, how do I get around? Well, it's the same thing when you're selling on eBay, is I need to learn what works on eBay, what works for eBay search, which are the most effective programs. Okay, eBay offers all these programs for promotions. Which is the most effective? Same thing on Amazon. There's these various ads program and brands program. What's the most effective for my niche? Because depending on what you sell, it could vary a lot. This season, we're going into Prime Day or we're going into fourth quarter. Obviously, it's going to get very competitive everywhere. What's the most effective strategies during fourth quarter? Do things change? Back to school, same question. So you always got to look at, where am I selling? Am I optimized for where I am? Like I speak, right? So if I'm speaking in the United States, if I was to come to London, I would learn certain things about, are there any idiosyncrasies or things that are unique for online sellers in the UK that American sellers really don't deal with? And I have some good friends in the UK, so I would ping them and say, okay, give me the lowdown, sort of like what's different. Just if I was a UK speaker coming to the States, I would do the same thing. Like, okay, how is it different being an online seller in the United States than in Europe? Because there are differences.
Right. I like that analogy very much. And it seems to be it's quite similar to social media and marketing in general, where you can't just have like one content plan for every platform. Like Instagram is one context, Facebook is another context. And speaking about platforms and versus selling on your own website, it's similar to blogging also, because you have platforms like Medium or YouTube that can help you build an audience. And it doesn't really make sense in today's platform age to build your own blog, where you have these platforms that can help you build an audience quite quickly. So it seems to me that Amazon, Walmart, and eBay are these platforms that heavily invest in their recommendation and curation algorithms, and they basically help you get started. So the question is, if you're just starting out as a seller, as an e-commerce entrepreneur, should you focus on platforms, or maybe one platform, versus diversifying into many channels, or building your own website from scratch?
I would recommend that you start on one platform. This is also depending on your budget. Like if you're a brick and mortar that's coming online, it's going to be a very different situation because you have, you really, really know your inventory. You know a lot about your ideal customer. You know a lot about your keywords. You know a lot about your product lines. But let's say that you know something about retail, you know something about online. I would focus on one platform at a time unless you have a large team. If for some reason you have a large team, that's great. Then certain team members, this is just my opinion, I would assign to each platform. So Sergey, you would be the Amazon guy. I would be the eBay lady. If I'm on Walmart, I'd have somebody else. You know, we all put our heads together, and then each one of us needs to learn, okay, you know, you're Amazon, you're in England, so you need to learn what works there. I'm
Right.
eBay, I'm in France, I need to learn, and Germany, you know, that kind of thing. Because every platform, your analogy to social media is absolutely perfect. Because yes, there's similarities. We use Facebook and Instagram because it's both owned by Facebook, but they're very different. Certain things might work as far as themes or content or even product, but the way you convey your message um, is very, very different. So it's the same thing with eBay and Amazon. You might have a product that sells equally well on both. And if you do, yay, you know what I mean? And don't tell anybody, you know what I mean? You know, there's
Right.
plenty of people that are going to be using various tools and they're going to be discovering you, but basically don't tell all your friends you've got a hot product and you're crushing it on Amazon and you're crushing it on eBay, because we all know this is, as much as we love everybody, your seller friends will be busy going, oh, you know, what is she selling? Is you really need to learn the platform. You really need to learn the algorithms. You need to learn how the keywords work. You need to learn how the search works. And some will be similar. For instance, like your title for your item might be very similar on eBay and Amazon. But you need to learn, a little tweaking here and there might work. Typically, Amazon titles are longer than eBay titles. eBay is 80 characters is tops. So if you're importing a 100-character title from another site, part of it's going to get chopped off, and you need to take a look at where it's getting chopped off if it still makes sense. So you need to learn what works. So focus on one. I think eBay is far easier to learn than Amazon, the basics. So I would start there, but if you want to start on Amazon, fine, learn it. And I would give it a good 90 days, you know, not a week or two, 90 days. And don't start learning it during fourth quarter. You want to learn it like spring, early summer. You don't want to start learning Amazon or eBay in the middle of November. Not good
Right.
timing. There's just too many moving parts. Really, really learn it for 90 days. You're going to be split testing. You're going to be checking your data. You're going to be really looking at what works and what not works. And then if there's just one or two of you or three or four of you, go, okay, for what we're selling, do your research, take a look at the other sites. What makes sense to go to next? What Amazon, eBay, Walmart, but we'll stick to Amazon and eBay, have going for them is they have millions of daily shoppers. That's a lot of work you don't have to do. Those sites, Amazon works very hard to get Amazon shoppers onto Amazon. eBay works very hard to get eBay shoppers onto eBay. And they're literally just surfing and searching for the products. Then your job, my job, is to make sure that my products surface when the shoppers are searching. And that's the job of an eBay seller, of an Amazon seller, is how do I get my products found? Legitimately, of course, by shoppers so that they can shop. And again, I want to attract a shopper that wants to buy my product. You know, if somebody's looking for a Coach purse, you don't want your microphone to show up because they're searching for a Coach purse. You don't want to frustrate. Sometimes people get a little cute with keyword manipulation. You want your product to show up when they're looking for that product or a realm. You know, they're searching Father's Day gift or Mother's Day gift, so that you're appropriate for whatever the search is. You know, if I'm searching for living room lamps, I don't want to see a microphone. I want to see lamps, maybe a table, you know, maybe search is thinking, okay, she's decorating her living room. We'll throw a coffee table at her. You know, we'll throw a rug. but you don't want, a model airplane to show up. It's like, this makes
Right,
no
right,
sense.
right. Clickbait headlines don't really work that way.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It makes sense, Kathy. I have one last question
Sure.
because I know that you have to run soon. It's a traditional question that we took from Peter Thiel's book, Zero to One. It goes like this: what truth that you believe in do very few people agree with you on?
Oh, gosh, that's a good one. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
about,
that's a contrarian question.
there
Love
isn't
your
one.
mug, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Um, because my main truth for myself is to serve my customer and to serve them with truth and to serve them with integrity. And who's going to disagree with that? Well, people that do black hat ops, sort of people that look for the back door. And those aren't the kind of people that I would want to attract. I want to attract people that have a great product, that have a great business, and they want to serve great customers. And certainly we all run into, challenging circumstances sometimes where it's like, oh, actually I've got one right now where I've got a challenging customer. I sell online. Um, you know, but basically I want to attract people that are looking to buy my item, people that are honest, great people. And the same thing when I work with clients, when I work with sellers, is I want people that are selling great products. I get to work with a great range, everything from home and garden to auto to clothing, you name it. And I don't know the people that I serve, the sellers that I love, that's the way they operate, is that they are good people that sell good things, and they're looking to have a good business.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you very
Right?
much, Kathy.
You're
I think this
welcome,
was
Sergey.
extremely valuable.